Honey, are you coming to bed? Sarah's voice dripped with a mix of exhaustion and annoyance. She had been waiting for Mark to join her for what felt like hours. Across the room, her husband, Mark, remained glued to the television screen, his face illuminated by the flickering light of his video game. The allure of the digital world was too strong for him to resist. Just one more level, he mumbled, his fingers flying across the controller. He was so engrossed that he barely registered Sarah's presence. This familiar scene played out night after night in their home, leaving Sarah feeling ignored and resentful. She longed for the days when they would spend evenings talking and laughing together. Mark, lost in the digital world, remained oblivious to his wife's growing frustration. He didn't see the hurt in her eyes or the loneliness she felt. This, my friends, is not a recipe for a happy marriage. Communication and connection are key, and without them, relationships can crumble. It's a recipe for disaster. The more Mark immersed himself in his games, the more Sarah felt like a ghost in her own home. This scenario, unfortunately, is all too common. Many couples face similar struggles, with one partner feeling neglected due to the other's gaming habits. Video games, while a source of entertainment and relaxation for many, can become a major point of contention in relationships. They can create a barrier between partners. Women often find themselves feeling neglected and unimportant when their partners prioritize gaming over quality time together. This can lead to feelings of isolation and sadness. This isn't about being anti-fun, it's about understanding the emotional needs at play. It's crucial for partners to find a balance that allows for both personal enjoyment and shared moments of connection. Let's be real, folks. When a man is engrossed in a video game, the outside world ceases to exist. It's like he's been transported to another dimension where only the game matters. His focus narrows, his responses become monosyllabic, and his ability to engage in meaningful conversation evaporates. It's as if the game has taken over his mind, leaving little room for anything else. For women who thrive on connection and emotional intimacy, this can feel like a slap in the face. It's not just about wanting attention, it's about needing to feel valued and heard. It's not just about the time spent gaming, it's about what that time represents. Hours can pass by, and with each tick of the clock, the emotional distance grows. It's about feeling like you're competing for your partner's attention and losing. The game becomes the third wheel in the relationship, always there, always demanding. It's about feeling invisible, unimportant, and ultimately unloved. The emotional neglect can be as painful as physical absence. This isn't about being needy. It's about basic human needs for connection and validation. Everyone wants to feel like they matter to the person they love. Imagine this. You're trying to have a conversation with your partner, but it's like talking to a brick wall. No matter how hard you try, you can't break through the barrier. He's there physically, but mentally, he's a million miles away, battling zombies or racing cars in a virtual world. The disconnect is palpable and painful. This lack of presence can be incredibly hurtful and damaging to a relationship. Over time, it can erode the foundation of trust and intimacy that every strong relationship is built on. The frustration women feel when their partners are glued to their games runs deep. It's a common scenario that many can relate to, where the virtual world seems to take precedence over real-life connections. It's not just about feeling ignored in the moment, it's about the underlying message it sends. The constant distraction can make women feel sidelined and unimportant. It can make women feel like they're not as important as the game, that their needs and desires are secondary to their partner's need for digital escapism. This feeling of being second best can be deeply hurtful. This can lead to feelings of resentment, anger, and even inadequacy. The emotional impact is profound and often underestimated. Women may start to question their own worth and attractiveness, wondering why their partners don't seem to crave their company in the same way they crave the thrill of the game. This self-doubt can be damaging to their self-esteem. This isn't about being insecure. It's about the natural human need for validation and affection. Everyone wants to feel valued and cherished in their relationships. The emotional toll of this dynamic can be significant. It can create a rift that grows wider with each passing day. It can lead to increased conflict, communication breakdowns, and a decrease in intimacy. The once strong bond can start to weaken. Over time, this can erode the very foundation of a relationship, leaving both partners feeling lonely, frustrated, and disconnected. The journey to rebuild trust and connection can be long and challenging. Don't just take my word for it, folks. Research backs up what many women already know. Excessive gaming can be detrimental to relationships. Studies have shown a correlation between time spent gaming and decreased relationship satisfaction, particularly for women. One study found that women who reported their partners spent excessive time gaming were more likely to experience lower levels of relationship satisfaction and higher levels of conflict. These women also reported feeling more neglected and less supported by their partners. Another study found that excessive gaming was linked to increased loneliness and depression in women. This highlights the significant impact that gaming can have on the emotional well-being of not just the gamer, but their partner as well. Gentlemen, let's play Why He Loves the Controller. Now, before we go throwing the baby out with the bathwater, let's talk about the guys. It's important to understand why men enjoy video games so much. For many, it's a form of stress relief, a way to unwind and decompress after a long day. Video games offer a sense of accomplishment, mastery, and control that can be hard to find in the real world. They provide a sense of community and camaraderie, especially for those who play online with friends. And let's be honest, some games are just plain fun. It's not about demonizing video games, it's about finding a healthy balance. Just like any hobby or interest, moderation is key. It's about enjoying your games without letting them consume your life or damage your relationships. Finding the balance. Can love and games coexist? So, can love and video games coexist? Absolutely, but it takes effort, communication, and a willingness to compromise from both partners. It's about finding a balance that works for both of you, where both partners feel heard, respected, and loved. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. It's about making time for each other, even if it means putting down the controller for a few hours. It's about remembering that your relationship is a team effort. And like any good team, you need to communicate and support each other. It's not about giving up something you love. It's about making sure that love remains the top priority. Section 7. Communication is key. Talking it out. The first step to finding a balance is communication. Talk to your partner about how their gaming habits are making you feel. Be honest, be direct, but most importantly, be respectful. Avoid accusatory language and instead focus on expressing your own feelings and needs. Listen to your partner's perspective as well. Try to understand why they enjoy gaming and what it brings to their life. The goal is not to make them feel bad about their hobby, but to find a way for both of you to feel happy and fulfilled in the relationship. Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about expressing yourself, it's about listening to and understanding your partner's perspective as well. Section 8. Shared interests. Leveling up your relationship. One way to bridge the gap is to find shared interests. Maybe you can find a game you both enjoy playing together. Or maybe you can explore other activities that you can do as a couple, like going for walks, trying new restaurants, or taking up a new hobby. The goal is to create shared experiences that strengthen your bond and remind you of why you fell in love in the first place. It's about finding ways to connect and have fun together outside of the digital world. Shared interests can reignite the spark and remind you that you're not just roommates who share a bed, but two people who are passionate about each other and enjoy spending time together. Section 9. Setting boundaries. Time for us, time for games. Boundaries are crucial in any relationship, and this is especially true when it comes to gaming. It's about setting aside dedicated time for each other where gaming is off limits. This could be a nightly ritual of having dinner together without any distractions, or a weekly date night where you focus solely on each other. It's about creating a space where you can connect, communicate, and nurture your relationship without the distraction of screens. It's about prioritizing your partner and making them feel like they are the most important person in your life. Boundaries are not about control, they're about respect. It's about respecting your partner's time, their feelings, and their need for your attention. Section 10. Conclusion: a new level of understanding. At the end of the day, it's not about banning video games from your relationship. It's about finding a healthy balance that works for both partners. It's about communication, compromise, and a commitment to prioritizing your relationship. When both partners are willing to put in the effort, it's possible to create a loving and fulfilling relationship where video games are just one small part of a much larger picture. It's about remembering that the most important game you'll ever play is the game of love. So put down the controller for a minute, folks, and take a look at the person sitting next to you. They're the real prize, the real adventure, the real source of joy and fulfillment in your life. Please subscribe and leave a like for more content.